Hello everyone, this is Kushag. Welcome to our YouTube channel DevTown. If you like the content, do like, share and subscribe to our channel. So you'll be seeing a series of videos required for you to get a good understanding of web development. So students, our today's topic is CSS Flexbox. So we would be understanding in detail what is Flexbox and how does Flexbox is useful in designing and all other things. So students, in the previous videos comment, students were asking why I'm starting from the advanced topic and why I'm not covering the basic topics. So students, have already covered the basic topics in the previous video. So if you have not bookmark my playlist, so please bookmark that. So this is the playlist. I would be pasting the link in the description as well, so do check that. So let's start. So before moving on to the code part, we would be understanding some basics about the CSS Flexbox today. So let's just start. So your basics would be, let me just quickly take the pen. So the CSS Flexbox, let me just write CSS, that is your flex box. We would be talking about CSS Flexbox. So what is CSS Flexbox? Basically, CSS Flexbox is one-dimensional layout method used to layout items. So it's one-dimensional layout method. So one-dimensional means it will have like this, like matlab these are one-dimensional figures, so that it won't be having any kind of a thickness. So its use that is known as one-dimensional, and layout means it is used for arranging. So that's the basic. So please focus on these two things, that is one-dimensional and layout. So let me just quickly move ahead, and this is the basic definition. So let me just quickly this is the basic. And one more thing, CSS Flexbox, that is flex, F-L-E-X, flex and box. So CSS Flexbox is made up of two words, that is flexible plus box. So it is a flexible box. So flexible means it can be adjusted accordingly, and it's a kind of a box. So let's just go ahead and tell you what is the blocks. Let me just scroll down a little bit. So assume that this is one, let me just select this now. Assume that this is your one container, that is div class container. But in Flexbox, this container is known as flex container. So let me just type this as flex container. So this is your flex container, just assume, but this is indirectly your div with a class of container. So this is your flex container, and inside this flex container you would be having some other div with a class of items. Let's say we have 3 cards, and this is item number 1, this is item number 2, and this is the item number 3. So this items inside this flex container is known as your flex item. So this is the flex item. And next thing is, there are two kinds of accesses that we do in the Flexbox. So the axis which is parallel to the x-axis is known as your main axis. So this, and there is one more axis which is parallel to the y-axis. So this axis is known as your main axis. Sorry, let me just remove this, type in main axis. So this is the main axis and this is the cross axis. So there are two axes, that is your main axis and your cross axis. So but there are two ends as well, like in the start and in the end. So this end point, or like this any end over here, is known as your main start, and Any point over here is known as main end. And any point over this side is known as cross start. And any point over this side is known as your cross end. So just remember all these terminologies. So assume that this can be easily remembered, like this is a container and that container is known as your flex container. Or if you are facing any kind of a difficulties, you can just remember it as a div with a container, and you can add a flex after that. And you can assume inside these items as div with a class of item, and these items are known as flex items. And you have to remember these two kinds of axes, that is main axis and the cross axis. So these axes are basically used to align items in the Flexbox, so that I would be explaining when I would be directly shifting towards the code. So just focus and just remember these kinds of terminologies only. So this is all about the CSS Flexbox basics, and let me just quickly jump back towards the code, and so that you can understand it in detail. So let me just quickly create one flexbox.html file, and let me just quickly generate the boilerplate code, and let me just change the title to Flexbox in CSS, and let me just give one heading as well, say h1 tag, say CSS Flex box. So as you can see, CSS Flexbox, and let me just give another div with a class of container. As you can see, and now I would be having 6 divs with a class of item and and the ID of item dash 1 2 3, like that. So item hash item dash. So this is the shortcut of having, let's just focus, let me just say 6, and as you can see there are 6 divs with a class of item and an ID of item hash 1 2 3 4 5 6. So let me just type first item, second item, third item, sixth item. So as you can see, and let me just start the server. Let me just click on this go live button. I think server is already running, so let me just stop. Yeah, server is starting. Yeah, as you can see the server is started. So let me just go back towards the inspect part and check the display property of this. So let me just select this and select this part. As you can see, it's display block. So you must be already knowing. So what is display block? So block elements takes the whole width. So as you can see, it's taking the whole width and its property is display block. So what if I will make the first item as display inline? Let me just make it as display inline and quickly give you the revision of block and inline. So over here, let me just make it as element style. Just a second, let me just select this part and yeah. So as you can see, I'm making it as display and I'm making it as inline. So this element is now inline. As you can see, this is overwritten by display inline. So let me just make it for the second item as well. Let me just select the second item. Oh, it's for the second item only, so let me just make it for the first. Let me just add a property for this item. So that is your display and inline. Sorry, not inherit, it would be inline. Inline. Yeah, as you can see, they both are coming in the same row now, and they are taking the width as much they require. So as you can see, this is the inline property. So to apply the flex box also, we use the same thing, that is display flex. So as you can see, I have already taught you about display flex, display inline, inline block, and all other things. So I'm now adding one more, that is display property, that is your display flex. So let me just quickly add a style, and let me just quickly add few more things. So let me just first of all give us your CSS properties to the container, and let me just say it as width of say 100%, and let me just now give a height of say 544 pixels, and let me just say a border of 2 pixels solid black. Let me just check whether it's coming fine or not. Yeah, it's coming fine. So let me just now give the properties towards the item class as well. So in the item, I would be giving it as background color of say tomato. So tomato is a color, so let me just check whether the color, as you can see, the color is coming. And let me just give the padding of 3 pixels and margin of 10 pixels. Let me just check. As you can see, it's coming fine. And let me just give one more thing, that is your border. So border say 2 pixels solid green. So let me just check. Border is not coming, so let me just check with the border. Yeah, as you can see, the border is coming and it's looking fine. So as you can see, this is the inline element, so it's taking the whole width. So we will adjust it and we will scale it. So now let me just apply the flex. Like, let me just first write how to apply the flex box or make any container as flex container. So this is how you make any container. So this is the container. If you want to make it as a flex container, you will use display and make it as flex. So let me just check. As you can see, all the container, this container has now become your flex container, and these are your flex items. So let me just give your height and width to it. So let me just say height of say 200 pixels and width of say width also 200 pixels. Let me just say let me just increase a width little bit. Let me say it as 300 pixels, and yeah, as you can see, it's looking fine. Let me just decrease it as to 250 pixels, not 300. So yeah, it's looking fine, and the width is also fine and the height is also fine. So yeah, now let me just decrease it to 100. Let me just check. Yeah, it's looking fine, and let me just give it as 200. Yeah, it's looking fine now. Yeah, it's fine now. So as you can see, this is how the flex items look. So this is your flex container, this is your flex item, and there are two kinds of axes that I have told you. That is the main axis, which runs parallel to the x-axis, and the horizontal axis, which runs parallel to the y-axis, is known as your cross axis. So this is how the flex box looks. So if you want to apply any kind of a Flexbox. So that's how we apply it. Now we would be talking about some basic properties of Flexbox. Basic properties of Flexbox. So this is the basic properties. So the first basic property that we would be seeing is flex direction. So what is flex direction? So now the direction of the flex size is row. So row is the by default value of the flex direction. So row is like flex direction means how basically you want your elements to be arranged. So if you want your elements to be arranged from here or from here or from this end or from this end, so that's how the flex direction works. So let me just give the flex direction as row. So as you can see, there is no changes. So as you can see, the flex direction by default value is row, and that's how it looks. So let me just give a few more properties. Let me just say flex direction 2 as column. So as you can see, all the items are arranged in a column size and it's falling one after the another. So that's how it's fall. So this is the flex direction column. So let me just show you one more thing, that is flex direction, say row reverse. Let me just say it as row reverse. So what will happen? So as you can see, in the row reverse, it's starting from the left hand side. The first item is placed on the left hand side, and then second item, and then third item, and then fourth, then fifth, and then sixth. So it starts from your left hand side. That is your main end. So it starts from the main end part. So that's how the row reverse is. Let me just show you the column reverse as well. So as you know, the column reverse starts from your cross end. So as you can see, first item, second item, third item, fourth item, fifth item, and sixth item. So that's how it is arranged. So this is the column reverse. So let me just quickly comment it out. Let me just comment this part, and let me just write one more comment. Oh yeah, let me just comment it over here. Default value of flex direction is row. So you can remember by this. So default value is row. Now let me just show you one more thing. Let me go to the inspect part, and let me just squeeze it. Let me just squeeze. As you can see, whenever I'm squeezing it, it's not wrapping. All the items are at a same place and they are just adjusting itself. So they are not wrapping themselves. So if you want to wrap themselves, like if you want, as you can see, these two items are coming outside and you want these two items to be displayed in the second line. So how you will do it? So there is one flex wrap property, flex wrap. So to wrap it, you can use it. So let me just say flex wrap, and we will say it as wrap. So if you will wrap it, so now what will happen? Let me just refresh it. As you can see, all the boxes are coming it. Now it's fine. Let me just go back to the inspect and show you again. Let me just, as you can see, as I'm increasing its width, so this is how it was. Let me just squeeze it. As you can see, the boxes are shifting themselves into the second line. So that's how it's going. So that's how it is. So if I will remove the height wala part, now it will, as you can see, the height will be height of the container also will be adjusted accordingly. So as you can see, the height is now like this, and let me just inspect this. Yeah, whenever I am squeeze it, the height of the box also will adjust accordingly. So as you can see, the height of the box also is adjusting accordingly. So this will help you to make the responsive design. So let's say this is your window screen. You are making one, say, gallery, like photo gallery into you with the help of CSS and HTML. So now you want your images to be displayed like this into your desktop screen, and when you shift back towards the laptop screen, you want to display it like this. And when you shift back towards the tablet screen, you want to display it like this, and when you shift for the mobile screen, you want to say you want to display it like this. So that's how it will help you to design the responsive websites. So this is all about the CSS Flex, and there is one more property, that is Flex Wrap. Let me just show you Flex Wrap and Wrap Reverse. So this is the just a second, let me just add the semicolon. So what this Flex Wrap Reverse will do, as let me just delete this. Yeah, let me just delete this part. Yeah, let me just shift back towards the VS Code and show you the inspect part. As you can see, now it will start wrapping itself from the bottom part. As you can see, the first item is over here, then second item, then third item, then fourth item, then fifth item. So let me just show you. As you can see, this is how it looks. Whenever I squeeze it, the first item will shift towards the upper side, not the bottom side. Earlier it was shifting it towards the bottom side, now it will shift towards the upper side. So as you can see, it's shifting towards the upper side. As I'm squeezing, it's shifting towards the upper side. So that's how the Flex Wrap Reverse works. Generally, in basic terms, you will use the Flex Wrap only because everybody wants to wrap it in towards the bottom side, not the upper side. So you will use Flex Wrap, not Wrap Reverse. But just for the information, I have informed you. So this is all about the CSS basic Flexbox and the Flexbox properties. So that's all. Thank you, students. I would be seeing you in the next video.